Hi, I'm Dr. Carolee Johnson with Best Healing Solutions. Just thought I'd pass along some interesting information about energy. I was listening to Dr. Bruce Lipton and he says it really well. But what I wanted to pass along was, in current biology that's taught in medical school, they only talk about chemistry. The hormones, the drugs, the pharmaceutical agents, and they teach that that's what provides information to the body systems. And if the system isn't working right, then you take a drug, which provides information to the body. And the drug carries a signal and changes the operation of the body. And we're very locked into a mechanical, physical biology, which is basically just current-day allopathic medicine. But in the last several years, there's been a rise in a new kind of medicine called energy medicine. And I've been working in energy medicine for over the last 10 years, and I've had amazing results. But science is just now finding that there is very sound physical and biological understanding of the role of energy and vibration in medicine. And it's very interesting because, it's not really new. Chiropractic got off the ground in 1895 because D.D. Palmer started to emphasize the nature of vibration and tone as part of the system, and talking about when the system goes out of alignment, you interfere with the vibration and tone, and so adjustments of the skeletal system would bring it back. And that was in 1895. But over the years, more and more information started to come out about the nature of vibration and what we call resonance and harmonic resonance. But what was really interesting is about 20 years ago, there was a physicist by the name of Leclerc at the University of London. And he says, okay, we know that it's very clear now that information can be carried by chemistry and information can be carried by vibration. And his question was, would there be a preference of one form of information over the other? And so he did an assessment of trying to compare the relative effectiveness of using a chemical for carrying information or a vibration. And the results were astounding. Because number one, when we talk about chemistry and we bring a drug into the body, in order for the drug to work, it has to bind to something and have a chemical reaction. Well, it's kind of like when we go back to our days in high school and we're playing with chemistry. You might remember when we would add a chemical in a test tube and you held onto that test tube, then the test tube would start to get hot. And in physics, heat is called dissipated energy or wasted energy. So what they started to recognize, and Leclerc started to emphasize very specifically, was if I use a chemical to carry a signal and say there is 100% of energy in a signal, and I make a chemical reaction, but then I have to subtract the energy of the reaction, it's a thermochemical reaction. In other words, the heat that comes off is energy that is being carried, but it's not energy that's being used for information. It's just part of a chemical reaction. Well, it turns out that 98 to 99% of energy carried in a physical molecule is lost in the form of heat. So if I have a chemical carrying 100% information and it goes into the body and has a chemical reaction to pass that information, 98 to 99% of the energy available was wasted as heat. So a chemical reaction carries 1 or at the most 2% as energy that is transferred as information, and it's a loss of 98% or more of that energy. And so Leclerc compared that to, what if I send energy via vibrational signature like sound? And when I'm doing an energy treatment, then that sound is the sound of my voice as I test your energy field and command energy in your body during a Healing Solutions treatment, which is the type of energy healing that I do. But if we send a signal to the body that way, how much of that energy is lost in the reaction? None. So in comparing the effectiveness of a chemical signal and an energy signal, the results are very simple. The chemical signal passes 1% information, and the energy signal passes nearly 100% of that information, which means the energy is 100 times more efficient in sending an informational signal than a chemical signal. So Leclerc concluded that given the option, we have to recognize the truth that resonant information or vibrational information is profoundly more efficient in sending information. Now, on top of that, chemicals have to move through fluid. So how fast can a chemical move in 1 foot? If it was really moving fast, you might say it took 1 second for that chemical to move 1 foot. In other words, we could say that a chemical travels 1 foot per second. So what about a vibrational signal, like light or the sound of my voice setting things to clear during an energy treatment, or making vibrational connections in your body by commanding energy with my voice? Or electromagnetics, which we already know travel at 186,000 miles per second, so which is more effective? A chemical going 1 foot per second or a vibrational signature going 186,000 miles in the very same second? Energy is profoundly faster. So if your survival depends on receiving a signal, it's a lot more efficient to use an energy signal than a chemical one. Energy is the medicine of the future. If your survival is dependent on receiving a signal, then the biological system will have a preference for the vibrational signal because it's so profoundly fast and so significantly efficient that if your life depends on getting a signal, then there is no comparison between the two. Chemicals do work, and there is a time and a place for those things, but not nearly as efficiently as energy healing. Like I said, energy is the medicine of the future. So get started with your energy healing work today. You can go to our website at www.besthealingsolutions.com and fill out your session request form. Or you're welcome to contact me with questions at Carolee@besthealingsolutions.com. And I'm excited to get started working with you. Have an amazing day.